Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Hi, how's things? We are live from beautiful Montreal, Canada, at the amazing Confu event, and I'm joined, of course, by the legendary, legendary Java champion, friend, hero to the community and peoples near and far, Henri Tremblay.
Hi,
buddy. Good to see you.
good to see you too. Because it's been a couple of years.
Yeah. Well, in person, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you been on the show before? I think you have.
I
feel like we had a
have.
conversation.
Yeah, I have. Like I don't know, 4 years ago.
Oh, okay. That's time flies too fast.
Mm-mm.
This the format is different now. And now that I've got this YouTube.
Yeah, now
channel.
we have TV.
Yeah, TV pixels in living color. It would be funny if this was in black and white. Like, what's going on? They're from the past. No, actually, that's what we should do. I should do a conversation with a PHP programmer and have it be in grainy black and white.
I'm not sure you will like that.
I mean, whatever. Okay, so Henri, you're one of my favorite Java champions. I've had a lot of respect for you forever, but several years ago, 2018, 2019, 2020, one of those years, you did a Java 1 keynote where you looked at code from Java 1 and ran it at the same time as you looked at modern Java, right? So you could run, it wasn't even a function of, the Java code ran, but the problem was that the operating systems themselves were no longer compatible, right? Like,
yes. People are still talking to me about that a lot. Vincent from DevNexus,
one of my favorite demos ever. It was such a powerful display. Like
Java, I had a lot of fun preparing.
Yeah, Java still worked. He had to use like a VM to run the old version of Windows because it was like 32-bit or something.
I think I was booting in 95 and then going up to version of Java, and I had to use old things like JRun, I think, to run a web server and things I didn't know would actually work, but it kind of started.
JRun, I mean, it was you. By then, you were already using a 64-bit computer, but that was on a 32-bit operating system.
I was running on a Mac, so it was a Mac booting on Windows 95, and chatting with. And the VM was the 95 VM was chatting with the normal Java modern day Java running on the Mac.
So one of my all-time favorite demos. Because it just shows like Java, you write it once, it runs anywhere. That's just true. It's 30 years. This year is 30 years.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I'm getting old.
Yeah, me too.
No, it's impressive because it's still all over. It's still highly maintained. There's still new features, but not new features for nothing. Features that make sense, that makes people life easier.
Amazing features.
That actually simplifies in many cases, because there was a time where I was getting afraid that it would get too complicated for people, and in some ways it is. Like the typing system is still a bit clunky.
I still have trouble with. Because I understood it for a while. At least I thought I did, but then I learned Kotlin, and then, so the generics for in versus out types, super versus produces, extend, whatever.
Yes,
that whole thing. Even me after 30 years, I sit there and like,
it's still complicated.
How do I do this again? And in Kotlin, it's actually different. So now, before I had an idea of how to do it in Java, and it was pretty consistent and it worked most of the time. But then Kotlin, I learned Kotlin like 10 years ago, and now
you're lost again.
I'm lost. I'm like, I try and do it the Kotlin way. Like, oh, that's not the way. Anyway,
but yeah, all the white cards, all the super next time and thing, and the n% that you can like put many constraints on things.
Right. Oh yeah, that and the question mark. I don't know. Whatever. It's okay. Anyway,
so. But 30 years, which is a long time, but it works well. It will still be there forever and ever and ever. I'm happy. I'm happy that I think it's picking up AI more and more.
Oh yeah.
And this is great news because at the end it will be more efficient anyway. Like any algorithm coded in Python will be better in Java.
For sure. There's that llama. Was that LLM for J or whatever?
Yeah, I like long line chain for J.
No,
the other one. As well.
Just a single source code file for an LLM, right? And it's just an LLM. It's one source code file. And if you compile it as GraalVM, it's way faster than anything in Python, right? Like come on, just amazing. Even on Java, it's super fast. Just regular Java, super fast. And the fact that it's just one source code file and you can run a whole inferencing engine, basically, like, come on, that's awesome. So yeah, we're in a great place, and I think we're going to be well situated soon. Are you? Well, first of all, I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that are like interesting here, right? What is your forte normally? What do you work on? What do you study or specialize or focus on?
So I'm working. It's for TS Imagine, it's a company doing trading platforms. So it's like high performance trading, where for fund management. And it's a lot of applications all around the world that needs to talk to each other, which I'm a lot in the making sure they can be built all together. They're efficient. They have tests. So I do a lot of CI work.
Yeah.
And also like migration of framework improvement, a different thing. My job is mostly to make everybody else efficient.
Nice. That's really hard. But you have the JVM at your back, so that's getting easier and easier, right?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. There are some stuff, because we're saying it like old Java would work forever. It's kind of true.
Mostly. Some things, like if you're doing the XML stuff, JavaX XML.
No, some stuff have disappeared. That's one thing. But like module system is breaking a lot of things.
Oh yeah. I hate
same thing here. And the many are like us. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure anybody has really used modules yet. I haven't seen yet an application saying, "Hey, I'm using the module system to create my application." I know
it's a chicken and egg problem too, right? Like people are asking us all the time, and we do have some support, but it's like, we could do more, but there's nobody using it. But of course, maybe they're waiting for us to do it. I don't know. It's
probably for in your case, probably yes, but it is a problem. There's good things like the UTF-8 default that breaks stuff, but it's actually for the good, a good reason. So let's do it. But so yeah, there are little things, and I think the modules and encapsulation are the worst. I'm still complaining and whining about that until they hate me.
Right.
I think that's right.
I mean, look, I get why they. So if the module system is, the team that works on Java has a right to feel that they can control and scale the code base. So to the extent that modularity allowed them to do the refactoring required to prepare for 9.0 and later, good.
Yes.
But for us, the regular plebs, the plebeians, like using Java, I don't know if that should have been a thing we cared about.
No, because you're right. I think in the JDK it's cool that they untangled everything.
So
That's
good.
Awesome.
Good for them. Really.
I think if it was me, my stake is if you're using stuff you are not supposed to use, like hidden things that were
unsafe.
there,
Yeah.
Your problem. You do need, if I decide to break it, it breaks your code, but your problem.
But adding a module to break it when it was already going to be broken at some point anyway, the compiler will break it for you if it's broken.
Absolutely. So that part I disagree a little, but so and this is what I'm playing at migrating JVM, for instance, and this is the only thing that is causing me issues. You need to add tons of add opens all over, and you kind of discover them in production because you have no ways to really know it will do reflection on that weird thing there. So just damn it. Okay, let's add another one.
Yeah. I still feel like it's an amazing time to be a Java developer. We are getting all this new stuff, and a lot of it you can script, right? So like app CDS and now soon the AOT latent stuff. That can be a build step. There's no expertise required, no domain knowledge, you can just run the program, get the index, feed that into the runtime when you run the program in production, and it's half as fast, or half as slow, twice as fast. Well, that's free. And there's no customizations,
Yeah, it's cool. I look also really forward to the unnamed classes and these things because I already do scripting. I already organize my build to have a Java code that actually just builds stuff.
When I run my programs every day on stage, I use a Java script, which is this. Sorry. Nope. go back. I'm typing at an angle here. Fret not, it'll be okay. There. This is a Java source code file, right? That runs on my machine.
Yeah.
It's got no class, right? I can't wait for this to be GA. When do you have any insight as to when that will land in like GA main Java?
I hope Java 25 will get it.
Oh, I love it so much. Like it's so good. So I've just people can't see it in the show, but basically we're looking at a source code Java file called unzip-and-open.java. We have a bunch of imports, and then it's just void main string args, and you don't even need the string args. I'm just using the args to get the current directory, but you don't need that. You can actually just do void main parenthesis throws exception, or you don't need to throw exception. Void main parenthesis, and that's it. That's a valid source code file and a valid Java program. And in this case, it is a Java file. I'm not compiling it either.
Yeah.
So it's a JavaScript.
Yeah.
I'm like you just do Java unzip-and-open.java, but since it's a preview feature, you have to say enable preview and specify the source, and it's a little annoying. I can't wait for that to go away. Soon.
I hope still a preview, but I hope 25. And
so good.
I love it. I need ZSH to do completion on it.
Yeah.
It doesn't, and I know it's a bug, and I got it explained to me, but I don't know how to fix that. I need to go into ZSHC code and completion. You have to have some kind of weird thing to make completion works everywhere. But that is amazing. And yes, now there's no argument. Oh my god, I cannot script, or I got any Kotlin, or Kotlin is not bad, but it's sad to need a standard Kotlin library to be able to run a stupid script like this.
Yeah,
you should not need that.
By the way, I love Kotlin. I'm a Kotlin, at least I was a Kotlin Google developer expert, and I'm a big fan. But I also think this should be. There's reasons to use Kotlin. Like you can do this in .NET. You can do this in every other language except for C and C++, right? Like I don't think it's taking from Kotlin to have this. It's just adding to Java, which should I can't wait. Kotlin has its own compelling things like nullability and all that, and some of that might be coming in Valhalla, right? Like that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, Valhalla is slow to land.
Yeah, 10 years already.
Yeah, I don't, but it is moving. They'll get there. They'll get there.
No doubt. And that'd be great too. I've seen the prototypes. That's so good.
Yeah. In terms of performance, it's like a extremely straightforward thing to have.
Right.
It solves many problems.
Have you so can we tell the audience what it is quickly?
Yes. Valhalla is the idea of not allocating all objects on the heap,
right?
To summarize. So because sometimes, let's say you have a point class with X and Y,
right?
You would like them to be passed by value, like a primitive type.
Right.
So it makes other objects like primitive types, and it makes wrapper objects as primitive types. So like an integer wrapper will be an actual normal thing. Benefits of that is, of course, a lot of performance because you allocate a lot less things for little small objects.
Right.
GC is happy. But other notes is like right now, if you put ints in a list, it's crazy slow.
Yeah.
So you need an array. You go back to array. But if you have these things, it won't make any difference between normal wrapped object and like normal primitive arrays and normal arrays.
It's really good. And right now, there's a problem right now in Java where we have two worlds we have int and integer, right? And if you're using integer, capital I, it's a Java object. That means every integer value
allocated on the heap.
On the heap, and there's an object header and all this.
Yeah.
It creates just insane amounts of garbage. And sometimes you can do this without even realizing you're doing it because you get auto boxing, right? So you can get this very, very inefficient code. Same thing like what you just said with the list.
Yeah. Any list, anything, it just goes bad.
Yeah. So you end up going down to arrays. So why can't you just have that done automatically? And so this gets into the question of, and you mentioned the int, the record point int x comma int y. Like fundamentally, all I need is the int x and y. The reference to the pointer is just to have a nice domain type, but it's not part of the system memory. I'm not going to do dot equals on it. I just need to know.
That's it. Yeah, it goes with that other thing. So that's the performance part, but there's some objects have no identity.
Right.
If a point class is value 1 1,2, let's
Right.
say, and the other one is 1,2. I don't care which one I have.
They're the same. They're
yeah.
exactly the same to me.
So it's really different from Josh,
Yeah.
a human being
Right.
with an identity, me. So these need to be on the heap.
Right.
We're on the heap,
Yep.
but all these other things,
But our ages, which are numbers, don't need to be on the heap.
no,
that makes no
absolutely
sense, you know?
not.
42 is 42, no matter who's got it, whatever, you know.
So, and records, of course, will become value
Value.
types at the end. There's already an annotation to
Well, it's
tell.
extra. It's not by default, though, right? You have to add value record points.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because you still need to decide, because some records could be long and you don't want that. But then things like optional, because I hate optional for that reason, it allocates an object.
Yeah, for an if test.
Yes.
Yeah.
So optional being value type. Now it's usable now. Okay, why not? Why not play with that? And local date, local time, these things as well.
Yeah. So and maybe integer. I mean,
of course, all the primitives are by default.
Candidates for that. And why is this valuable? Well, because of cache, CPU cache, right? Like cache locality. All high performance computing today is all about getting your data to fit in those small little CPU caches, so that's in main memory, as opposed to like having to be loaded in and out. And if the data is small enough and the thing that the data depends on is small enough, and they can both fit in the cache, the computer can work with them very quickly, as opposed to having to load something, you know, like a linked list in objects. You might have, it might be too big to fit in the same cache register.
Yeah,
right?
Especially linked lists, because they're scattered around.
Exactly. It's random memory thrown around the object graph, right? But if it's all tightly packed ints, and you don't have to actually care about the container type anymore, because they don't care about the identity of that, you know, that would be good. It would be really good. You could actually have all these ints like an array. Right. Like,
and right now you need to use array all day,
or
you use Eclipse collection or things like that that they have primitive types. But there's no other solution, and that's
not good. So that Valhalla will give us that, but it's not just for collection types. It's for like point, like you said. It's for
it's for anything that goes in there, and that makes sense.
Like teaching the JVM about new primitive types.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Same that what they did in .NET too.
Yeah.
In that they had that
20 years ago.
Yeah.
Like we're not new here.
No.
But the other thing that's interesting about that is, of course, is if I have a list of T is assumed to be an object. Objects can be null, and so the collection might throw an exception, but there's nothing in the compiler that stops you from putting a null in a list of T, right? Because it's autobots. So now what happens when we get to int, which doesn't have such a thing as a null? And now you get these nullability requirements, right? Like these nullability specifications.
I think it won't be allowed.
Yeah.
I think, am I wrong?
Brian gets talked about.
Am I wrong?
No,
I'm not sure.
Brian gets talked about having the ability to annotate to describe nullability as one of the things that will come out of this.
Maybe. Okay.
Value type, Valhalla thing. Anyway, just super exciting. Yeah. I think that'll come later. The first release will just be what we talked about.
I haven't seen that part.
Yeah.
They there was a story about that. The story I like. I tell that in some of my conference in general about the because when it's a value type, you need to know it's a value type.
Right.
So it needs to be flagged somewhere in the class structure saying, hey, it's a value type.
Right.
And to be able to do that, and that thing was explained by Rémi Forax explained that to me. I don't know, you probably had him here.
I'm not on the show, I don't think, but I should.
You should definitely, because that guy is awesome. And so he explained that we needed a bit, and that's why they removed bias locking from.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, I don't understand.
Because bias locking, it flips a bit on the object to tell that there's bias locking involved to be able to. So they check that bit to say, oh my God, the locking was removed, but the thread was that thing. So like the logic to check that requires a bit in the.
So you're just going to reuse that instead?
We will reuse this one. So they said, okay, the bias locking is way too complicated and nobody wants to maintain it, and it prevents from other optimization that we would love to do. So let's just put that out. Anyway, people are correctly synchronizing now. It's a big assumption. Okay. So, and we need that stupid bit for Valhalla. So that's why they got it back.
I didn't know that. That's hysterical. Oh my God. Well, it's like, it's recycling. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Bits are really, really expensive in the JVM, especially in the class structure. And for those who don't know, bias locking, the idea is to, when you So when you do synchronization, in many cases we do wrong synchronization, so you don't need it because it's single threaded. So the JVM was smart enough to say, hey, that thing is only called by one thread. Why would I synchronize? So it stopped synchronizing. But then if another thread finally decide to kick in and use the same thing, it will say, oh my God, I need to remove that optimization. And so that's how it's working. And in the old days when everybody was using vector and string buffer and hash tables and these terrible things,
non-concurrent
you would have tons of synchronized for no reason. So that was a great optimization. But now we're not doing that anymore. So it should have no impact to remove it. And that's why
So now you can use concurrent hash map. You can use
which are correctly done.
Right.
So you don't need that anymore.
Concurrent
But still, you can have, if you have really old code in your application, you're moving, I think, between 16 and 17, you might get the performance hit because of that.
Because it's going to start synchronizing or not synchronizing.
Yeah, it will do full synchronization all the time.
Right.
It won't remove it ever again.
Interesting. But it still runs. It's just not
exactly.
Oh, I didn't realize. So it's actually a step backwards, sort of. But it'll pave the way for Valhalla. So actually, what you lose in the concurrency guarantees, you'll more than gain eventually when you can turn that collection into a bunch of ints.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Oh, so good. What Java giveth, it taketh away. I love it.
Yep.
Or I suppose what Java taketh, it giveth. Taketh away, it giveth.
Makes sense. It's like all the GC, for example. You remove CMS, you have time to work on ZGC or C4. Oh, not C4. G1. Sorry. And so. Yeah.
So let's talk about, I don't know anything right now. What's the state of the garbage collector world? Do we know?
I would say that, everything is dying. Parallel GC is still there, but you see it go out slowly.
Okay.
G1 is the standard. I think ZGC, and I'm not even sure how they pronounce it. If it's ZZ0, but Z, the letter GC.
Right.
I feel it will be the one eventually because it starts to be really powerful and it has funnier things, like things where you can, let's say, you can set the heap you like and the heap where it could go if things goes wrong. And these are interesting stuff. Actually, it's useful
and more practical for production.
Yeah. Sometimes you have a bump and you would prefer to have more memory than out of memory error. So and there's a lot of performance tweaking that goes in there. So I think it's the future, but let's see. And then there's still Shenandoah aside of that. But I don't know how much Red Hat is putting money on it.
That's the no GC?
No, Shenandoah is the one from, it's like a ZGC from Red Hat.
Okay. What is
Epsilon?
What's
Epsilon? The thing that does nothing?
Shepelev. Yeah, that one.
Shepelev is Shenandoah.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Alexei Shepelev is on Shenandoah.
But didn't he also create the zero GC?
Maybe.
No GC one?
I don't know.
Oh, I'm confused. Never mind. We should have trading cards. Like get to know a JDK contributor,
that would be an idea.
Like baseball cards. I'll trade you one Remy Forex for one
we'll put like
Project Loom,
health,
Ron Presser,
patience, and
exactly, like exactly, stats, exactly.
Resilience.
There's so many. I mean, that's the thing. We have, even the architect team is big now.
Yeah.
Usually the whole point of an architect is usually to provide the vision, but the Java ecosystem is so big now that there's actually several different architects on the team. There's obviously Brian Getz, there's Victor Klang now, there's a
great asset.
I mean, he's I say new, but he's multiple years now.
I'm not sure how many,
but even Brian Getz, I remember when he didn't, like, Brian Getz is in the last 15 years.
At least for me, he has been there forever.
But not as an architect. He was like in the community,
different things.
Just an amazing. There's even more than one architect now. That's how big it is. Like the architects set the direction. Basically. Right?
Yeah, which is a lot of Brian, I think. But
sure. And undoubtedly. What about
at least for the language?
It's amazing. So, what is the garbage collection story is pretty good, huh?
That's
going to get better with value types.
A lot. I'm really curious. I haven't seen any benchmark about that, but now we have versions of it that are supposed to be workable. So we could, I guess, if I was looking. I'm really curious because for me, it removes a lot of stuff. Like just all the primitive types that are not boxed anymore.
Oh,
they're
huge.
just magical. You should see the line of, especially allocation rate will go.
Same performance or better. I saw Brian. He did a demo. Was it Devux? I don't remember. Devux, Belgium, maybe. He did a demo last year, looking at Valhalla, right? And was it? I don't know if he did a demo or he showed a demo or he talked about a demo. Anyway, it was some like basic, n times m iteration. You go through n arrays and then m arrays to do matrix multiplication, this kind of thing. And it was like 4 times better just by turning on this value types.
Cool.
Faster. And that wasn't even using the vector stuff, the new vector.
Yeah.
It wasn't even using the specialized machine instructions. It wasn't using, it was just the stupid naive implementation of matrix multiplication using Java objects.
Yeah, on CPU.
Yeah.
Normal.
Yeah, it was still 4 something. I think it was 4. Maybe it was 8. It was 4 at least times better. It was amazing, and it was just free.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was boxed. I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah, that's a huge win. I mean, you just upgrade to Java, so I can't wait for that to happen. That's what I want for Christmas.
Will be Christmas 2030 probably, but
no.
It's coming slowly, coming.
I'll take it in pieces. I'm okay with that. I was. They're doing that with the. At first I was a little annoyed because virtual threads arrived and it was like, well, it's just this one thing because they talked about structured concurrency and scope values and then the actual and then the virtual threads themselves, right? Yeah. And then even so they delivered the virtual threads, but even there it was like virtual threads with an asterisk. Don't do thread pinning.
Yes.
Like we have these issues with that, but otherwise it works. And at first I was like, well, this is going to be a big problem. We were expecting A, B, and C. No, it's fine. Actually, they delivered the most important piece. It doesn't. Most people don't get affected by the little asterisks, and those other pieces are coming.
The pinning, I don't know. That's a good question. I think it's more harmful than we think.
Well, it's going to go away, right?
Yeah, now it's
one
now
more
good
month.
for exactly like in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
for Java 1. So somewhere in Java 1, it will announce 24 and we'll have no pinning. So we're fine.
Except for native code, but again, that's a vanishingly small. Like as a framework, we have to care about it for class.4 name and things like that. But
But but I don't care much, but because the pinning will be really quick, small. Yeah, exactly. You don't do that big of a native call when you're asking. If you have your own native calls, these could be harmful. Right. And from my understanding of the problem, it is unsolvable because there's no way, you have no idea what it is doing.
Oh, it's NP complete,
call,
right?
So you can
NP
can park at any moment. So you would need to ask the C code to actually park by itself, which is theoretically possible, but then you need to be aware.
You have to refactor everything. Yeah, that's fine. It's fine. My point is you've gotten free scale, and that's so. My point is having those it's been 3 versions of Java, 4 versions of Java in a month, in a week, in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Right, since Java 21.
Yes.
That was a quick 2 years. I didn't even notice it, and
it goes pretty fast now. Yeah, the 2 years are flying.
And having a conversation with people in the meantime, saying, okay, you should be using this.
Yeah.
Because you can get real benefits right now. Try this flag in Spring Boot, and you get like almost twice as many requests in some of my examples I show. It's a little bit of a contrived one, but it still works.
The drawback of that is that you do need to think about it a little. You need to benchmark it, and do I turn it off and on because it depends on your synchronization and things. So do not do it randomly. Try it out.
No, try it out, but also try it out.
Yes.
When I say try it out, I don't mean like think about it. I mean just do it and see what happens, and then if you like it, then deploy it. Yeah, it's not painful to try it. Spring.threads.virtual.enable equals true. Just do that and then try it. You'll love it. It's great. It's great.
And then I do hope that structure, concurrency, and scope values will get in 25. It's not in 24, so I think they'll have the time to finish for 25. But if we miss, and the 2 are going quite long, so if they can't do one, not the other, I think. So.
Yeah. I'm just happy we got Panama after all those years. Bye. Welcome. I'm happy we got Panama. That's one of my favorite little things that I don't have any use for right now, but I've always wanted to have a use for it. And years ago, I would have loved to have a use for it, you know. And then so Panama. Actually, I tell people all this. This is one of those thought experiments. What would Java have needed? Were you in the room? Had you been in the room with the Kubernetes, the original people that built Kubernetes in 2012 or whatever at Google, right?
Okay.
If you were in the room and you're trying to make the case that they should use Java to build Kubernetes over Go or C or whatever else they looked at, right? What would you need to say? What would need to be there? And as far as I can understand, Go routines.
Yeah.
Right. That's the green threads inside of Go. We've got virtual threads now.
Yeah,
easy-
but that's a curiosity, by the way, because if you look under the hood of virtual threads, there's coroutines implemented. So
Sure.
they park and they thing and they resume. And I'm still unsure. And I'll be at Java 1 in 2 weeks. I'll probably ask the question if I get Brian or whoever, because I'm really curious. Like, are you planning to make that public eventually, or
Right.
you and you're not sure it's ready, so you don't want to, or it will be hidden forever because it works perfectly?
Yeah, it's really good. yeah. You can do your own like other abstractions on top of it, you know.
Yeah, you do your own little coroutine Kotlin, but without Kotlin.
Yeah. So there's that.
Yep.
Right. So today the answer would be virtual threads, right? And coroutines.
Yes.
To enter Go routines, right, from that world. The other thing that Go had that Java would have needed to have is easy foreign function interop, right? The ability to call into the kernel, to call into native APIs, to work with things like C groups, right? So you had JNI, but it creates a hémorrhoide, you know, like a
but now
Panama.
What's the other one?
Panama.
It's part of Panama, JNA or something like that.
Well, that's the old one, JNI, right? But
no, JNA.
JNA is from years ago. Yeah, it's a separate foreign function interface,
which is good, I think.
Yeah, it's very good compared to JNI.
Yeah,
but it's not as nice as Panama. Panama is just like perfect. But so now we have that.
Yeah,
and then the other thing we would have needed is easy, like statically compiled, self-contained native binaries.
Yes, and now we have GraalVM. I'm wondering as well when
we could build Kubernetes. I wouldn't. Don't do that. It's a waste of time. There's already millions of human hours put into it. But my point is,
it could.
We're 12 years late.
Yes,
but we're there. You know, like I don't like. You could do it now. It would be not, you know, nothing is easy. I'm just saying it's possible now.
Yes,
it's amazing. Java, you couldn't have used Java like this 12 years ago. Now you can.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you can do now. Indeed. And where I was going with that, you said, what's the last thing? What was your last point? I don't know.
Foreign function interop, statically self-contained native binaries, and virtual threads.
Yeah, I was going on GraalVM. I'm also wondering when it will be the GC. No, not GC, sorry, the JIT. The official and only JIT forever.
Oh, well, it was a JIT for a while, and then they took it out, right?
No, it's still JIT, because when you run GraalVM, it's a JIT. It just...
No, I know, but I mean, it was actually in the JDK.
Yeah, but they removed it for a good reason. They removed it because they said nobody's using it anyway, because that version is like 2 years old, and the one they can download is much better. So why they would do that? So that makes full sense. But then at some point, someone needs to say, okay, hotspot, time to retire,
right?
And let's do everything in Java.
That's a good point. So GraalVM, the original sort of use case there was, I remember Twitter. I remember our friend, what was that guy from Twitter? He was on the show. He ran that JUnconf in Hawaii, Java Unconference in Hawaii.
Oh dear God,
Lava One.
Yes.
Haven't heard from him in a few years.
I spoke to him like last year, I think. I met him. I shouldn't.
I can see his face.
Exactly. So I can see. Like,
I'm so sorry. I'll remember it later. I'm sure
it will come back.
Yeah. Yes. Anyway, like I remember there's a few great years where he was. I mean, he used to work at Sun. He's very deep in the Java ecosystem, right? And then he was at Twitter for years, and they were talking about how they had turned on the GraalVM JIT
Yep.
just the JIT. Forget about the native image stuff. That wasn't
Yeah.
related, right? They had just even the JIT, because they were doing Scala at Twitter.
Yep.
Right? I'm not sure what they're doing now, but at least back then, certainly it was a lot of Scala, which is extra garbage collection pressure, right? Because it creates more objects, not less. And it worked. The JIT was doing wonders. Free. You just changed to GraalVM from Hotspot, and indeed that's why that's one of the reasons they actually created that, right? Was the Hotspot's a lot of C++ and spaghetti code and very hard to.
Hotspot, it's tons of C++.
Yeah. Whereas this is basically all Java and Java, right?
Yeah, and Java with some sense. I've seen like really quick improvement. You would. I don't know why I know that, but like at some point there was some guy doing testing on it, and he said, okay, that thing is not efficient for some reason,
right?
And like a week after, the JVM guys, the GraalVM developers, they fixed it. So it's like,
it's Java.
Oh, let's add a Linux code here. Blah, blah, blah. I think it was an intrinsic. An intrinsic was missing, and so oh my god, they just added. That's done. Okay, wow. So you're able to rebuild that thing in 1 week, and let's go.
With the Hotspot though, it's much more like, you know.
Yeah,
don't breathe on it; it might fall down. You know?
It's a man-efficient piece of work,
right?
And, yes, magnifique. But yeah, it's getting old, and it's one like it's the reason why do you have Java on the Mars rover? Why is there algorithmic trading done with Java? Because it's really easy to change and modify without anything exploding and crashing forever. There is no sec fault in general in Java, so you can do that.
Right. And so that the JIT is very important, but I'm glad they finally did the JIT itself is in Java now, a Java JIT, you know.
Yeah.
So you're right. Why isn't that, you know?
I hope it's not because it could be because it's not ready, and the other reason could be because they sell a GraalVM Enterprise, and so there's commercial reason behind that, which means that it won't.
Well, you can still download the regular open source GraalVM and use it, right?
You can,
yeah,
but then it's not as fast as it could.
Well, I mean, so even that would be an improvement over Hotspot, right?
I'm not sure. Good question.
Well,
not sure. Yeah.
Either way, amazing tech. I love it. I'm a big fan of both the Java team and the GraalVM team. And I like there. You've seen the 1BRC challenge, right?
Yes, that was. I'm still talking about it.
Me too. And even in my talk today. But the reason I love it is there were several different implementations. The first one was Thomas Wertinger from the GraalVM team, right? And then several implementations down. And there's one fellow who contributed an implementation using the Vector API, right? So it was a preview feature. The Vector API, by the way, is an API that lets you use specialized hardware to do matrix multiplication, the kind of stuff you need to do for TensorFlow and games and cryptography and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's got GPU. So GPU compilation, but on the Intel Vector coprocessor instead of a GPU.
Right. It's kind of like that. It's specialized hardware, not just a regular CPU. And you can access this now from this specialized API called the Vector API. It's a preview feature, and there's an interplay, one imagines, with Valhalla. So apparently they're waiting to GA. They won't GA the Vector API until they've GA'd the Valhalla stuff, because the Valhalla stuff will influence the final design of the Vector stuff. So, but anyway, at the moment you can still use it, and it's very, very stable, and it looks good, and it's as usable as it will get apparently until they're able to retrofit.
Yeah, because it's the longest preview ever.
Yeah. So
they're 12.
So you can use it right now. So one of the results from this competition, the 1BRC, was just an open JDK plus Vector API. And the reason is, and so most of the top 5, 6, 7 results from the 1BRC challenge are GraalVM.
Yeah.
But one of them was using the Vector API. Yeah.
And so
native image.
Native image of GraalVM.
But one of them was using the 1BRC. The Vector API.
Yeah.
And it was really, really fast. And so fast, in fact, and it was pretty genius. The code is really smart, you know.
Code was impressive. I read a bunch of the answers, and there's nice cool.
Really, like really smart people. So one of them used the Vector API, and it's almost as fast as the top fastest one, right? It's in the same ballpark, you know, 1 or 2 seconds. And yet it's not. At the time, when in last January 2024, GraalVM did not support native images, right? GraalVM didn't support the Vector API in native images, right? So this submission could not use GraalVM and vectors, because it's a preview feature, but now it does. So Thomas Wartinger has talked about how if GraalVM had supported the vector API, then this submission would be faster than his, which was the fastest, right?
And so is it? It's fast.
It is. Yeah, Thomas says it is. Yeah, okay. I haven't seen it, but
and sorry, I was thinking back processing the name of
Thomas Wartinger is the GraalVM creator, and he's also the person that
the
created
name
the first
of Javaland guy.
The what?
The guy from Javaland.
Oh.
And his name is close to that. That's why I.
It is. No, it's not Javaland. It's a Lava.
Lavaland.
Lava one.
I can't. I'll find. No, it's I think it's Lavaland on conference. If you're looking for that.
Oh, he's. Oh. Oh, it'll come back to me eventually.
Yes.
Is Lava One
Chris
Tallinger? Thank you. Legendary. Chris Tallinger.
Sorry, Chris. Yeah. We forgot your name.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. We both have great memories of you, and I'm not good at names. I forget names.
Yes, and so so it's faster. That's great.
Yeah, it's actually faster than Thomas's, and that's pretty. Imagine GraalVM native images plus the vector stuff. And it's so good that apparently Thomas tells the story that he hired that person to work on GraalVM. Like he's like, okay, I know this is really good, so you're hired. The community is really interesting, right? Like,
Yeah. And that speed was really impressive. It's 1 billion stupid rows. That's a lot of rows.
Bro, and it's not naive. It's 13 gigs of text.
Yeah.
So you can't just like load it all into memory and heap, right? Like most JVMs don't do that with RAM easily, You have to be smart about it. You can't just do the naive, first year college.
But if you're into performance, have a look and read the code of the best answers.
Yeah.
And the code is actually really good because it's commented correctly. Like, hey, I'm doing like some kind of bit mapping things for optimizing additions, I think, or something. It's
memory fences and unloading process memory, and it's just amazing, amazing little hacks and stuff.
Yeah.
I had Gunnar Morling on the show. Last year to talk about this stuff. Early last year.
I think even him, he just thrown that in the air and thought, oh my god, they're all going crazy about it.
It was so good. It was so good. He started like a movement, there's other people. I don't know if the other languages have
there's other implementation. I don't think they're that good.
They've done
I don't think they're that as
formalized competition.
If I recall, if you go on the website, you'll see the Java ones, and then you have the on competition ones, but that are from other languages.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure there's answer there. So there are others. Yeah. You'll have it if you scroll down. I think you'll see it. And so these are all the Java ones. And then you went too fast. Go.
You go. Drive. I'm not sure what I'm looking for.
So 10K now, okay, no. Bonus result with more threads, I think. So no, that's the normal one. I know there's Python and others, but I'm pretty sure none are as fast.
But have they done, is it contested against the same hardware?
Yeah. I think he made them like R-based here.
Okay.
And you have others in
Apache
C.
Pinot.
Like this one is in C. Wow. It's a good question. Was it benchmark on the same? I don't know.
For the Java one, he ran every submission on the same hardware.
Yeah, on exactly the same.
So you got normalized results.
So
naive. Okay, so
1.6 second, for example. But I think it's probably on his laptop or something. Not sure on what it ran.
Wait, he's got some implementations that took 480 seconds.
Yeah.
You've got one with mmap dataset files. Wait, is that all together? Oh, various states. Okay, so here's one that we're looking at. This is not, again, it's just one competition from one person named Danny Van Kooten, this is really interesting. You can look at his C implementation, and he's got different implementations. He tried different things. and well, I assume it's a they. I should say. I don't know. I don't
No
know.
idea.
I don't know what
I
Dutch
didn't-
names correspond to what genders or whatever. Naive implementations 480 seconds, right? And then parallelization 6 seconds. Unroll parsing of city name and hash generation 20 seconds. Hash map 97 seconds. mmap dataset file 1.6 seconds. So like, that's pretty close.
Yeah.
But still, like, it's even in C, you don't get the benefits without doing some really tricky.
No,
code,
because the code is probably terribly something. The Java one is still, as I was saying, you see the tricks, but you still have nice methods, and
Yeah.
and you're kind of forced to have short methods in Java to be fast anyway,
Right.
so they get in line. So it's readable.
It's really, really good. Yeah. And then, yeah, it's really good. I'm really impressed. So on my machine, look at that. This person, I'm reading this blog. I'm sorry. Because it went from one number and then got it down to 1.5 seconds, which is 320 times faster as the stupidest implementation that took 480 seconds, right? Wow. I mean, it's just good no matter what language you're in. Read some of these blogs, but especially the Java ones. I'm a big fan. Anyway, it's good stuff. So this, what are you going to work on next? What was your talk about today?
Today about what's new in Java 21. So
21.
Yeah. Because 24 is coming, I know, but LTS is 21.
Oh, okay. I was like,
but I did like, because 24 is going out, I did prepare a demo, like what is happening and what's new will be there a little bit for 24. Funnily, a lot of the previews of 21 are still previews in 24, so there's not that much. We won the underscore for the unnamed variables, and everything else is pretty much on preview. All the cool stuff.
I'm just look, Valhalla is like the big one, right? That won't be happening anytime soon.
But we could hope for, like, I was saying 5 years, but maybe we'll have
5 more years?
Start of it in 2 years. Like but well, let's be optimistic. Next LTS after 25 could happen. You never know, because we have an implementation now, so we might get there. So why not?
I really hope. Call your local JDK contributor and beg.
But no, these days I have a lot of thought on architecture and making things efficient. But AI is a serious big thing that I need to put my head in and to see where we can go with that. There's some magic in there. It's seriously a game changer for a lot of things. So it's not just a buzz that people are talking about. It's actually doing really, really cool stuff.
Really cool stuff.
And I'm kind of happy. I was telling that story yesterday. I think I used to work with data scientists, like PhDs in machine learning. So before the LLM part, and they were already able to do incredible things.
Right.
Like when you have a really good statistician with you, he will do amazing stuff with all your data. And it was really hard to convince people that they actually exist and they're not fraud and they can do real things. But now it became so easy that it's all over and everybody's doing it. And you can just chat with your prompt and you will get something
really
done.
good.
So
I think from a Java perspective, we have Spring AI, of course, which is an umbrella project that supports all the patterns for AI engineering that people are going to confront. And for 99% of the people out there, the name of the game is integration.
Yeah.
It's just calling a REST API.
Yeah.
Right? You're not actually building the model yourself, most people.
No, we don't need to do that anymore.
Right.
You need to feed the model with your personal data, like your stuff, but then it just does it.
But even that, like for most people, that's RAG. It's consuming somebody else's model. It's just like I consume somebody else's SQL. I'm not going to build my own MySQL or Postgres. No. I'll just use that. Right. Same thing. I'm not going to build my own ChatGPT or whatever. I can just use Olama or Gemini or ChatGPT or whatever. Right. So lots of different different models out there, and for integrating with that, that's just a REST API. Java, it's integration. Java's already got the best tools for integration out there, right? So from 90% of the people, we're already the best place to be doing that. But when it comes to running these models, that's where this performance stuff is going to be really important.
Yeah.
The Valhalla, the vector flow, the the vector API.
I actually don't know how TensorFlow is implemented or how Gemini is implemented.
Right.
I would be surprised if it's not in Java or something.
I don't know. Yeah.
I have no idea.
But the point is, it even if it's not, it would be nice to be able to say that Java could do it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And it's already doable. Like I said, there's already a inference engine that's in pure Java.
Like the Longchain4j, you'll have some kind of Olama something running embedded local. It works perfectly.
That's
magical.
They're just using another project though.
Yeah. It's not they do but it's in Java.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that it's a single source code file. It's like LLM for J or something like that, or Llama for J. I forget, but it's just a single source code file, Java code. You can compile it to a GraalVM native image, and it's already faster than equivalent running the same inference model. It's an inference engine. You could run the model separately using Python, but it's slower, right? So this thing it's really good. I mean, we're already there, and so imagine what happens with Valhalla and the vector API.
Vector API will become important for that.
That code is using the vector API right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of GPU in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see, but it is, I think Java will be involved. I think Java will be more and more on the AI, and also I think everybody will start using it all over until we do something really bad with it. But so far it's useful. If you're not using a coding assistant, do it.
Yeah,
seriously.
It's the new rubber duck.
Yeah, it's exactly that. Yeah, exactly. It's a rubber duck. Yeah. Hey, how do I do that? Oh, you should do that. Okay, you're partly wrong, but you just still
you inspired me.
Yeah. So it is my official rubber duck that is way better remembering Bash than I am.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Like even okay, at this point I know Java pretty well.
Yeah.
Not great, but I can find bugs in most of the code that the model gives me. But at least it sets me down the right path. Or for the boring, stupid stuff like Fibonacci, I'm like, I could write these 5 lines, but you do it. It's okay. I don't want to. So I like that. But for the other stuff, like you said, like Bash or even SQL sometimes, or God forbid, like JavaScript, like when I have to wander into these other wildernesses,
or even other things like Ansible, let's say.
Nobody
can remember anything in Ansible. You just copy paste all the time. So
or Terraform or whatever.
All these DSL that you never remember.
I'm sure there are people who remember because they do it all day.
I guess
just like with Java, if you do it all day, you remember how to do it, and you're not confused. But there's no compiler for these things usually. Terraform and Ansible.
No, you just
code formation or whatever, cloud formation. So
you got some syntax highlighting.
So awesome. My friend, you've been amazing. I know people are going to have more questions. Well, thank you. I know people are going to have more questions. They're going to want to learn more. So we have some questions here. Are you on the internet? Do you want to be found? And if so, where can people find you?
Yes, I am. I think the easiest place is on Blue Sky.
Blue Sky?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Mastodon, I'm there, but I'm not really there.
Sure. I should get back on the master. I have nothing against it. I've been prioritizing Blue Sky.
So yeah, Blue Sky, henri.tremblay.pro. And then LinkedIn, especially if you're local and you want to chat.
Well,
and on my LinkedIn, I'm a bad person, so I do not accept anybody. I accept people that I've actually met. So it's useless to ask me requests. But on Blue Sky, I'm highly chattable. I'm not using X anymore.
Yeah. Okay. All roads lead to the Almaray Java Champions list. Java Champions.
Oh, it's broken. What are you looking for?
Okay.
Oh, here. And the members, if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, thank you. Oh. What? Okay. Did you add Blue Sky? There's your butterfly.
Yes.
Whew, that was quite the thing here. Let me put that here.
Sure.
I just realized. What? Anything you can tell us about the you work on EasyMock, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I forgot about that. We talked about that last time, actually. Yeah, I think so. Let's not have the whole thing, but anything we should know about that world? What do you think of the new class file API?
It's an obviously good idea because yes, it's kind of normal to have something that can generate code along with the code.
Right.
So that just makes sense.
It's like having a compiler ship with your language. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird that the JDK used to embed ASM foreign library to be able to do that.
Right. What?
It's really cool for the guy who did that.
Right.
But it's strange. And so that's a good idea.
That's you, right? Yeah, surely.
Yeah. Well, it won't be usable for a while because it means it will be there, and I think it's 25 again.
Yeah.
So if it's there in 25, it means I'll be able to use it. Like, when will I drop 8? I haven't dropped 8 yet.
Yeah.
So it will take some time, and so I'll see. It's more maybe OpGenesis will need that. EasyMock, and yeah, EasyMock is using ByteBuddy now. So I finally moved out.
Yeah, nice.
Then we haven't talked about that. It's a complicated topic because it's getting harder and harder to create mocks. ByteBuddy. So before we would extend classes,
right,
and that will work, and everybody was happy.
But then modules.
So now you cannot really create a class in the modules unless there are a lot of openness and things. So you need to do that differently, which made the people from Mockito and ByteBuddy, because they're kind of the same. They said, okay, we will do that differently. Instead, we'll start instrumenting the code. So instead of extending a class now, what they do is they add instrumentation in the code. So they actually modify the real class.
How is that more secure? The module system has forced people deep into the bowels of your code now.
I have no idea why it's more secure. For me, it's terrible. But and it also means that there's stuff you cannot do in the real code now. You need the mock to be able to do it, which is really sad. And now you have that. So they do that. But then in some cases, it doesn't work. So what they do is they launch a foreign process that will, because before we were able to self-register an agent because they needed an agent to do instrumentation. But now we're not allowed anymore to register an agent. So now you need to launch an external process that will actually connect to the JVM. And as you were saying, it starts to be a really weird security hole for something extremely useful that we need to do.
I thought that restriction wasn't yet in force, was it? For the you can't just have it in the jar, right? Like the agent. You have to register it with a.
It needs to be in parameters for me now.
Already?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. I remember seeing Maven plugins giving me warnings about this, like it's going to be a problem soon or something.
There's an annotation maybe.
Okay.
But yeah, so now it's extremely complicated to create these stupid mocks, and you need an amount of knowledge that is like 20 levels above what I did when I did EasyMock originally, and which means it's not for like the first faint of heart. It will do. Let's do a framework. And I'm a bit sad about that. Like, it's not fun that it gets more complicated. We talked a bit about that last time. So I don't know how it
the
will.
JVM a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know how it will hand. There was ideas about we should have a test flag saying, hey, you can do stuff because you're in a test mode.
Right.
That's okay for Mockito. That's okay for EasyMock. But for Spring, doing proxies, it doesn't work. You need another solution.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It is. But again, the nice thing about this, for most people, I have no doubt these are going to be more secure results. But for the people like us who are building frameworks and libraries at the low level, we have very little hair left. It's just sad to have to say goodbye to the rest of it.
No, it's true. There's the added security. I'm pretty sure I don't know some things that happened, and like big acts that happens, and that's why they want they want these security constraints. So it's not a nonsense. But yes, the ability to fool around is diminished a little, and some fooling around is really useful. So we need to find a middle ground at some point.
And that dynamism, that the fact that Java you have a type system, but also it's so squishy if you want it to be. You can treat it like JavaScript at some point if you just like, you shouldn't. But the fact is, it's a very dynamic language. It's you can go up and down that type system. Oh well, my friend, amazing. Merci. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for hanging out.
It was a pleasure. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.